Well, hi Rob. I'm really glad that you're again in Kiev. And what do you feel about Ukrainian autumn?
Oh, well, thank you for the welcome. The Ukrainian autumn feels very much at home for me. It's mist and rain and fog and all the things that we enjoy. Do we? I don't know, but we live with in the UK as well. But it's great.
Fine with this
I'm fine.
weather.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah. It's great to be back in Kiev, though. People are very warm and welcoming and friendly, so that's the most important thing.
Yeah, that's great. Basically, I hear that a lot of times about Ukrainian people, and I'm proud of this, to be a Ukrainian one. Well, today we'll talk a bit about culture.
Okay.
And we prepared some questions for you, and here are the first one.
Right. Thank you.
Well, what are the key values, differences between Ukrainian and British? And how does it affect your approach to the business?
Oh, okay. Well, let me start with the Brits. The British, we like our rules. We tend to queue for buses and we have rules for everything. So the way we do business is very reflective of this. We have contracts, we have protocols and procedures. My sense is in the Ukraine, people are much more about relationships, about trust and engagement with each other. So I think the difference is that where I might revert more to a rules approach back in the UK, or perhaps when I'm doing business in Germany or Sweden in the Nordics, I think in the Ukraine and many other countries actually, it's more about the relationship and the heart and the engagement with the individual to make sure that you're delivering what they really want. And what's written on the paper, possibly less important.
So basically you answered a bit for our next question.
Oh, sorry.
And so you do find Ukrainian different and like more friendly?
Yeah, I do. More friendly, but different is good. You know, not different bad. People are very friendly, very open, and you can tell where you stand. Perhaps in some of the more northern European cultures where we're a little cooler, should we say, at times, you don't always know where you stand. The signals are very subtle, and you have to learn them. I find here people are very straightforward, very warm, and very pleasant to work with, actually.
And did you face any complications getting to know our culture?
Yes. I think the biggest complications getting to know your culture, which I'm still learning in truth, is the language, which to my tongue is quite hard. And I'm learning some words and I'm trying hard. But the culture itself is, once you speak with people, is clear. That's okay, and it's a good culture. But breaking into it through the language is quite hard, especially for somebody who perhaps grew up with more Romance languages and Latin than Cyrillic. Yeah.
You expect, especially to read.
Yeah, absolutely. To read, it's hard work.
It is. And now a bit coming to work in culture.
Okay.
What's your attitude towards work discipline? Are you in the office about 9? Or how do you?
Oh, that's a good. Oh, goodness me. The truth, I have always taken a flexible approach to work discipline in terms of hours. We don't work in a factory. It's not about clocking on and clocking off. However, I personally have a very strong work ethic, and I'm always at my desk or doing my email by 8 a.m. That's my nature. But I don't expect others necessarily to do that. And I think it's about the output and the quality of the work people do, rather than are they in the office from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and taking 1 hour for lunch. In the modern world, this is crazy. You know, it's about the quality of the output, meeting customer needs, delighting them, doing projects on time or early, and doing great work. So to do that, you need a bit of flexibility.
Well, actually, your approach very good goes to media agencies. And creative, definitely.
Definitely creative, yeah.
Well, and do you travel a lot?
Yes.
You know that there's huge differences between communication between people from one country to another one.
Yeah.
Do you have some generally valid guidelines you should pay attention to order to make a positive impression in the business world? Please share if you do.
Okay, well, yeah, I have some thoughts, like everybody who travels, and I'm very privileged. I go to many countries and I meet many different people. But before I answer your question directly, I'll tell you a story somebody told me many years ago when I was in a meeting room in Munich, and we were having an international meeting. It was a big American corporation. We were flying people in, and this German colleague of mine made me laugh because he said to me, "The great thing about these international meetings, Rob, is," he said, "the Swiss and the Germans will be early. We'll be 10 minutes early for the meeting." And he said, "And then you Brits, you'll come in 1 minute before because you want to be on time, but not too early, and you certainly don't want to be late." He said, "The French and the Spanish and the others, they'll come in a few minutes late, and there'll be, an apology, a bit of a noise of chairs and things. The Americans will already be there as well because they're always on time. But the Italians," he said, "the Italians, they will come in half an hour late, and they won't apologize. The Italians will just come in and go, 'Guys, I've got a great idea.' And the whole meeting will be disrupted." And it made me laugh. And as I looked around the room and the clock was ticking towards the start of the meeting, it was exactly as he described. It was wonderful. And I tell that story because I think the truth is we're all different. And I think when you're traveling, first of all, you should be yourself. I'm very British, I'm very English, so I like to think I have good manners, and I like to think that I treat people fairly. That is part of my culture. But I also should respect other cultures, and you should be sensitive to where you are. So, for instance, when I'm traveling in the Middle East, I will greet people in Arabic, and I will pay respect to their beliefs, particularly if they're part of the Islamic faith, and I will show respect and so forth, and keep my feet firmly on the floor. I think it's a blend of being natural in yourself, but also respecting the other nature characteristic, and then you can get the best from both. And then it's honest.
Yeah.
And you don't try to pretend suddenly to be German or Arabic or American, and they don't have to pretend to be English. We are ourselves. As to people arriving very late to the meetings, my great friends from Italy, usually it is a good idea that they come in, so you have to listen and smile, and then perhaps try and get the agenda back. So.
That's great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, and the last one question from me.
Okay.
What's your favorite cuisine?
Oh.
And the short one.
Yeah.
Do you have a visit card dish you can cook by yourself?
Oh, that I can cook by myself. My favourite cuisine is easy. It's Italian. I love Italian food. My wife and I travel a lot to Italy and enjoy just amazing food in Bologna and places like that. So you won't be surprised that I suppose my signature dish, my children will probably disagree with me on this, although they're all grown up now, is I do love to cook spaghetti carbonara. And I particularly like, my wife keeps hens, so we have fresh eggs at home. And I like to use fresh eggs and good quality bacon and cook a good carbonara. And that's my favourite sort of me dish. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, and thank you for interview, and thank you for your answers. And after your last answer, I'm getting so starving. So let's go for lunch.
Yeah, let's break.
Yeah.
You're welcome.